Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah. All cleaned in oil.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Hot damn, it's time to get down to the jam. It's time to get down, it's time to get down, it's time to get down to the jam. I said it's time to get down to the knowledge, gonna get on down with the know. On the morning coffee show, on morning coffee with Keith, here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black?
Can't you see we talking? White?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning, kids. Good morning, everybody in the audience.
Wow. You know,
Good day.
as I was saying before we started the show, it has been a year. 2024 has been filled with a lot of ups and downs. Good morning, Mrs. A. Good morning, Penny. I just think that this year really has been very enlightening, really, in the world of entertainment, especially for nerd and geek entertainment. Seems like after Cat Williams' interview, I think everything's pretty much just starting to come out. And while it might seem that I'm opening the door to talk about that issue, I'm actually opening the door to actually talking about a lot of the really weird and unusual things. Some of that stuff just so messed up that you almost have to try to figure out a way of marking it. And so the idea was, everybody's going to be trying to take their look back at 2024. I thought I'd give out my own awards. I thought that doing something like that would really help this stand out. And I still can't believe I've done it with, Martin. I still can't believe that Martin was willing to do this with me.
Don't you dare to put in question my admiration for your work, man. Whatever you say, you're my Captain Cisco.
Well, thank you. That's probably the nicest thing anybody's ever really said to me. Thank you. You, of course, are just the man. You are able to do whatever, and you are able to just come up with whatever weird stuff seems to cross my mind. So thank you. But about this award, I think the name of it was something that seems to epitomize what 2024 has been. And I think now, as more and more people are beginning to actually see behind the facade, see behind the curtain a little bit, I think many more people are starting to understand how bad this year was and how bad things have been just in the last 10 years. The Bad Entertainment Award for Nerdom.
Love it.
Which, you put the letters together, it kind of spells out bean, or as I like to call beans. And we know what happens when you start eating beans, everybody. Well, that's what Hollywood has basically been a diet of. Beans, cabbage, Dr. Pepper, whatever else they could find.
Oh my God.
Because that's really what they've been giving us. We have been paying A-plus entertainment prices for stuff that wouldn't even be considered on a good day Z-level entertainment in certain instances.
Well, I wouldn't say we have been paying precisely because anybody has been paying to see their product. As of lately, they are in big trouble now.
Yeah. You can't burn through money with no consequence. Real Popcorn Geek. Let's see. First of all, thank you, Real Popcorn Geek. Says Sony Pictures CEO for Clueless Studio Head. Why did our Spider-Man-less Spider-Man movies fail? Madam Web isn't a bad movie. Well, look. That I think the secret to that lies within the Sony email hack. And what we heard and have learned from various sources, mainly from Midnight's Edge, Real Popcorn Geek. Hey, you leave Dr. Pepper out of this.
And he's right. That is my favorite carbonated drink. So
I'm sorry, Dr. Pepper. I didn't mean to defame you. I also am a big Dr. Pepper drinker. But when you look at that email hack, and when you look at what Midnight's Edge had to say about Sony's plans for Spider-Man-less movies, yeah, and it's the same plan they've had for about 10 years. They've never changed it, and it's unfortunate because you can tell. You've had some big actors be a part of stuff that should have been at least a little bit better than what we ended up getting. But in a lot of instances, just wasn't. And what has happened with Sony, as smart as they were not to go streaming, they're still on the list for, basically being bargain basement idiots for doing what they did. They needed actual comic book people who have done really good work with Spider-Man to help them do this. Instead, they've been relying on Hollywood people. So it's a lot of hit and miss. And so for Sony, they're never going to figure this out. They might as well just go ahead and either continue down the road that they're going and lose more money, or they should, as a rumor stated, Tom Rothman seems to be thinking about actually just selling the whole thing back to Disney, which would probably be the smartest thing for Sony. Probably wouldn't help Disney that much, depending on how things go.
I mean, I've heard some friends telling me, well, I'm beginning from the end.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. I don't think Disney's in any shape to buy anything for a while. They're hemorrhaging money.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard as a response, well, are you crazy? Have you seen they are making money? The movie about the emotions, I always forget how that shit is called. Now, in short, I receive a list of 3 or 4 recent movies that have made some bank, and I say, yeah, but there are 4 movies in 4 or more years that they are giving red numbers. And get ready for the losses with Captain America.
Oh, geez, yes.
Because regardless of that, if that movie is good or bad, even if it's exceedingly good, the amount of money they wasted on that,
Mm-hmm.
they will never take that money back. Hey, we have Gap.
It's Gap After Dark, everybody. Wow. Are the beans done yet? Is this cool? You know, Gap, that's a good question. I think they are. And I think, given what Martin just said, I think that's going to lead us to our first Bean Award. I think, yeah, from the smell, yeah, it's done. I just think that for this first one, I have to say that it may sound like it does, but it really gives me no pleasure to do this. And I just want to say that overall, there are going to be a few films and a few filmmakers and others who will find themselves on the pointed end of a lot of my comments. This is not a personal thing, but as a longtime fan, I am very disappointed. You know, so that brings us to our first Bean Award for 2024. It's called Wasted Potential. Wasted Potential. There are look, let me just say this. These awards cover everything in 2024. Okay? It isn't just film and television projects that have premiered during 2024. It's everything. All the stories mainly that we've covered on this show during 2024. And I found a way of just tying everything up and filtering it out into different categories, of which I have picked 4 categories that will give us an opportunity to discuss how we got to that point and how we feel going into 2025. So as I said, the first one is Wasted Potential. And let me just say that there have been a lot of projects this year. Oh, thank you, Gab. There have been a lot of projects this year that have that could easily have won this honor. Thank you, Tom Baker. He says, you are calling it the Bad Entertainment Award, but it isn't even entertainment. That's way too generous of you guys. Yeah, I know. But there have been a lot of projects, some that have premiered during 2024, some that have yet to come out, that I think could easily win Wasted Potential. And for the one that I chose, it's Captain Black Falcon America. Again, there's a reason why I think even Martin, when he was trying to come up with things to say about Marvel, and his mind went to that. This project, in and of itself, is the first time that I think a lot of people have actually started looking at a project well before it comes out and paying attention to not only who's in it, not just photos from the sets, plural, but also when you add in the revelations from Valiant Renegade, WDW Pro, our good buddies at Midnight's Edge, and even stuff from other shows, Salty Nerds. So, I'd have to say that this pretty much takes the cake, in my opinion, because there's almost no way to avoid this fate. A real popcorn geek. I'd give it to The Crow 2024. It could have been good had they done it right. You're right. Look, everybody has who they would award that to. So if you hear a category, but you would come up with something different, let us know. Let us know who you would give it to. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Why make a Crow remake, even if it was a good one? What could you say that can enhance the story? Because believe me, I read all the variants of the comic. There are at least 20 different variants of that story on printed media, and you see the movie, the real movie with Brandon Lee, and that's it. That's the story. What else can you add? Oh, cell phones, text messages, and at no, there's nothing you can do with that story. That is an atemporal story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in no. Well, yeah, maybe in 30 years when people stop talking to each other because they're gonna be all plugged into the AI and shit. But until then, there's nothing you can do to do another thing with the story. The only thing you could say, oh well, we use another actors. Yay.
I agree with you, Martin. I really do. The question definitely should be why do it? But then again, you got people doing things that is just major head scratchers anyway, and they're willing to spend the money. I look at it this way. I haven't given them any money. I mean, if you want to throw your money away trying to basically outdo something that was very good the first time around, I'm here for you if you want to do that to yourself. And I think that's really what a lot of this has been. Fans who have just had enough. And so, if you want to throw your money away doing something like that, that's fine. You're never going to make it all back, and you won't find anybody who's going to be that gullible enough to think that you're actually going to be successful. Unless you decide that you're actually going to just do a shot-for-shot translation of the comic itself, which technically the Brandon Lee version was attempting to do.
Yeah.
But you're going to try to find a way to do it better. Okay, but you could do that. That's the only way that you're going to be better than that, because we've tried all the other different ways. And again, that goes for this first award. Wasted potential. I like everyone else at the end of Endgame was a little mystified as to why Steve gave the shield to Falcon, because Falcon is such a fantastic character. And again, it just goes to show that the people who technically should be the custodians of these characters have absolutely no idea who these characters are, let alone have read their comics. Falcon is a fantastic character, period. And as a fan of Falcon, now having gone through all this stuff, I'm a little insulted that they actually thought that they needed to tweak the character in such a way that they just need to make him Captain America. That's insulting, because it shows that they never really understood the character. They never really believed in the character. And worse enough, they never did anything with the character to make the character worthy of people who haven't read comics to really come to believe who the character was and what his potential is. Captain American Falcon. Yeah, well, Sander, Hammerslag, that's one way of saying it. I call him Captain Falcon America, because that's technically, he's just a Falcon to me. And, Sam Wilson as a character overall has just never really been given his proper due. A lot of his stuff seems almost more comedic than anything. His cameo in Ant-Man but have you ever seen the character prior to really, had you ever seen the character prior to Endgame being given anything remotely like a strong consideration that this person could actually be the lead of his own film series and go pretty far with it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier could have been something kind of cool, but it seems like they were just trying to play on what they had already established after the end of Endgame. And it's part of the reason why everything that came after Endgame just sucked. As a whole. Phase 4, I mean, it's all right to say that now. Phase 4 was not good. Okay? Phase 4 was not good. And I know that there are some out there that actually consider the Black Widow movie good. I'm not one of them. I've never been one of them. I thought the movie was just not very well done. But again, as Martin had pointed out, one of the things that I think really disappointed a lot of us Sam Wilson fans is the fact that you look at how much money has been wasted in shooting and reshooting this film. It boggles the mind. And this is definitely not something that would have happened in the early 2000s, definitely in the 90s, or even in the 80s. This is just a special, random outbreak of stupidity within the entire industry to do stuff like what they've done over the last 10 years. Yes, Real Popcorn Geek, you are correct. No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine have been the only highlights since Endgame.
I didn't like No Way Home.
I know a lot of people that didn't. And you know what? When Kevin Feige was taking his cues from The Flash, I think he did the best he could in trying to put everything together before The Flash was able to come out. Of course, little did he know that the Warner Brothers, Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada were going to be helping him out by delay. So, again, I've said it before. I've said it on shows. I've said it on shows with Gary. Martin's heard me say this before. And as time goes on, it's becoming increasingly clear that part of the reason why everything after Phase 3 failed was because Kevin Feige, the mysterious place where he seemed to get all his great ideas for doing stuff in MCU films, suddenly disappeared as soon as Zack Snyder went away. Make of that what you will. Now, those who have been paying attention know exactly what is being said. And there have been several people that have pointed it out. There have been several connections made in certain instances where things seem to be a little too similar. And realistically, once you start running dates and when things were posted, when things were acknowledged, you begin to get a certain picture emerging that points to that maybe Kevin Feige was finding other places that would inspire him to greatness or his contributions for a lot of what he did with the MCU.
Can you please elaborate?
I just did. No, I didn't misspeak, Sander. You heard me correctly. You heard me correctly. When the costumes from Zack Snyder's Justice League were put out there, and you had Snyder's notebook out there for people to read, yeah, it's enlightening. And when you consider the production time periods for a lot of these films that he handled when he was working for Warner Brothers making these movies, things get kind of interesting, to say the least. I think that ultimately the decision to have Tony Stark be the one to go all Bruce Wayne at the end of Endgame, which is really me alluding to how Zack Snyder ended Justice League Part 3, says a lot. So there you go. But to get it back to Captain America 4, what you have here is a film that, had it been handled correctly, would have been big, real big. Although personally, I don't think it should have been called Captain America 4. It just should have been called it just should have been called The Falcon. Brave New World. And they should have had Bucky should have been in it. You know, instead of doing that whole TV Disney Plus thing, Falcon and the Winter Soldier should have been a movie. And the events of this film should have been the events of that movie. They should have just held off until they had something that was big enough for the both of them to be in. That's the missing pieces, or at least pieces, in my opinion, for this particular project. Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, Rosa Salazar, I mean, it's hard to tell now which actors were originally a part of that project when they started work on it versus all of the reshoots and all of the money that has been spent. And eventually adding in Giancarlo Esposito, again, an incredibly talented actor. But you added him in after you'd already finished the first version of the film. And so far, I've not really seen very many films that have been successful making huge changes to certain acts or cuts of the movie after you've already spent a lot of time and money doing everything, with the exception of World War Z. And the work done on World War Z, comparatively speaking, was not the same as what has been done for this film. I'll just tell you that right now. Go ahead and Google Tim Blake Nelson, who's one of the actors in there. He's already stated that they have shot enough material to have basically refilmed this movie completely twice. Technically almost 3 times. Almost.
Well, they
That's
are
a
on.
yeah.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
this is the fifth round of reshoots, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's embarrassing. More than anything else, it's embarrassing. Okay, can we all at least agree on that? This is truly embarrassing. I mean, forget the fact that this is an MCU film. As a film, this is embarrassing. And I feel bad for Anthony Mackie because I like the guy a lot. He deserves better. Way better. Disney's been jerking this guy around too long. In fact, Harrison Ford, Giancarlo Esposito, Carl Laemmle, Tim Blake Nelson, Emily Van Camp, Liv Tyler. I mean, everybody that's a part of this, they deserve better. Way better. This is not a problem with your actors. This is not a problem with any of the crew or people that worked on it. This is a problem with your producers and your writers. And I'll lay this at the feet of Kevin Feige because it never should have gotten this bad. Never should have gotten this bad at all. And again, as Martin, as you said earlier, with the amount of money that has been spent on this, it's almost next to impossible to see this film being able to be successful enough to cover all of its debts. And this is, again, for the record, this is the second major Disney-related project that Harrison Ford's been a part of that's done something like this. Technically third, if you count the rise of Skywalker.
Yep. Well,
So-
the guy doesn't seem to care.
No, they don't. And that's really the chilling side of all of this. I am, as a fan, just mesmerized how they just don't seem to care. Marvel Studios doesn't seem to care. Disney doesn't really seem to care. You know? They just don't. And it's unfortunate. Because when you think, I've said this before a couple weeks back, when you look at all the money that has been wasted on reshoots and changing things around, I think Disney, Marvel, and Lucasfilm really have spent the equivalent of about 5 or 6 different films that they could have made. That's me just taking a guess. Maybe more.
So I imagine some executive in Disney yelling, "Do you know how many dog movies could have been done with all that budget?"
Yeah. And Sander, I in the end, even Heaven's Gate didn't have the potential to be as big of a failure as this film. You know, I mean, wow. You know, Michael Cimino can at least rest easy to know that he is no longer on top of that hill. You know, there are a lot of people that are replacing him or have replaced him really with that. When you look at what had happened with the Marvels, and I know there are some people that's like roll their eyes, oh, the Marvels again. The Marvels. I'll keep bringing it up. That film was just a disaster. The same way I continue to say that Wonder Woman 1984 was a disaster. I never would have greenlit that. And I like Patty Jenkins. I never would have greenlit that. But Toby and Walter decided that they were going to go a different direction. And by then, the understanding was, as far as they were concerned, as far as the top brass at Warner Brothers was concerned, the Snyder universe was over by then. They were going a different direction with everything. Notice, didn't work out so well. And I get it, Sander. Sander, he did. United Artists did not fare so well. I'm not saying Disney's going to go bankrupt. I'm just saying you can't keep having projects spend and waste so much money. Can't do it. Nobody can do that for any real period of time and stay in business. Eventually, it's all going to start counting against you. And again, I feel bad for everybody involved with this film, but especially for Anthony Mackie, because he deserves so much. This dude, Anthony Mackie, he's a star, is really what he is. But he's a star that has been handicapped in projects that, you know, don't allow him to do everything that he's capable of. Personally, I think he and Henry Cavill should get together and just do I Spy. It doesn't look like Henry Cavill's going to be able to do Man from U.N.C.L.E. He and Anthony Mackie should just get together and do I Spy.
Well, apparently Henry's getting busy for real with Warhammer.
Oh yeah. No. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Henry's busy. Henry's busy, and he's gonna keep himself busy. But I mean, as you know, as a geek, as a nerd, if you want to do something that at least allows two people who I feel have never really been given their proper due, a project that they could both be a part of, that would allow them to do everything that I think they could really excel at, I Spy would be good. That is a good property. Since it seems like the entire industry wants to continue working on known IP projects or stuff, properties that already exist, and in certain cases, old TV shows, I Spy should be given another shot, because I really don't count that last movie with Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that wasn't good. That was far. Yeah, I'd be glad. Those of us that are fans of the I Spy series, we probably don't count that movie at all. So, yeah, I'm real popcorn geek. It was bad. It was really bad. Then again, here's the question: was it as bad as the Honeymooners remake or Bewitched? I keep telling people, I keep trying to remind people, all of this stuff where you're remaking things that have already existed is not new. It's been going on a lot longer than you even realize if you're someone under the age of 30. It's been going on a long time. And just because a few projects have failed, don't think that Hollywood as a whole is just going to recoil and stop doing it. You know, we are in corporate Hollywood now. Things are so different. It's all corporate Hollywood now. And it's going to be hard to try to change a lot of this. I'm not saying it can't be changed, but it's going to be hard. It's going to take a long time to change a lot of what is. But as far as taking old ideas, old IPs, and trying to do them, as long as some of them continue to be successful, or in certain cases, even be nominated and win Academy Awards, they're going to keep doing it. I'm looking right at you, The Fugitive, which happened to star Harrison Ford.
Oh, well, I like The Fugitive.
It's a good movie. It's a good adaptation of the original television series. You know, you can either go with The Fugitive or you can go with the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, Hollywood. Well, this was what? Best or worse, whatever it fits your need. Wasted potential.
Yeah, wasted potential is really what this is. And the winner of this award is Captain America Brave New World. Because, again, I can't personally see how this film is going to have a happy ending for the people that are actually responsible for it. I can't see it. I mean, if they manage to turn this entire film around and it makes $1 billion, I will be happy to be wrong. You know where I'm going to be? I will come on and I will say I was wrong.
Yeah, but that $1 billion will only be enough to put them out of the red.
True.
Not profit.
True. That is correct. Again, Kevin Feige should be glad I'm not his boss, because I would call him into my office and just sit him down and ask him to explain to me how any of this is helping my bottom line. How is any of this helping the bottom line? At all. And that's the reason why I've been saying since July, I'm more of the opinion that maybe Kevin Feige should be relieved of his duties and just concentrate on Marvel Studios. Because under the way things are, he's running all of Marvel. Technically. I think he should be relieved of all of his other duties and he just focus on making movies. Just Marvel Studios. There you go. Don't worry about TV. Don't worry about animation. Don't worry about merchandising. Don't worry about the comics. Don't worry about any of that. You just concentrate on the movies. That's what you do. Get you to focus. Because this isn't working. Whatever this is. And that's saying something, given the kind of year we had in 2024. For me to say that Captain America Brave New World is the winner of this award, that's saying something. But as I said, if you would have picked a different film, a different project, let us know. Put it in the chat here.
Okay. Well, so what would be our next category of failure?
Well, the next category of failure is what I like to call the Talentless Hack Award.
Oh, I know. Akiba.
You're
Or
close.
Alex.
It's Alex Kurtzman. He won this handily.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
I can't think of anybody more deserving of.
He's been prepping his whole life for this.
Oh, jeez. Look, all I know is this. You can't Google hardly any project that he's been a part of and not find in some way some sort of disappointment with it. Okay? I mean, how many people here actually loved, and I do mean loved, Lost, the television series?
I am not one. I've been shitting on that since almost the beginning.
For me, the last season kind of went a different way for me. I'm going to be honest enough to say that, yeah, I liked the show. Didn't love it, liked it. And then you get into, you go from that to working with Michael Bay. And in this particular instance, working on his movie The Island, for which Kurtzman worked on. Google that. Alex Kurtzman, Michael Bay, The Island lawsuit. Now, as I've been saying for quite a while, after that whole event, after the legal wranglings were over, technically, Alex Kurtzman should not have had a career.
Yep, that is a career-ending incident.
And what happened was this guy got lucky. Or what do the kids still call it? Privilege? He turns around. He gets the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And that film did all right to a certain extent, but it still was the final Andrew Garfield movie. That's bad luck. Then he gets this deal from Universal to run their monster universe. You remember? He was the guy.
Yeah.
The same thing he's done with Star Trek is really what Universal had hired him to do with all their monster universe films.
And he did it. He ran it right into the ground.
That's right. He was the guy behind The Mummy.
My God, the Mummy.
He wrote and directed that film. Now, what I've heard is that he and his people have been blaming Tom Cruise for the failure of that movie.
Wait, did Tom Cruise script doctor the script for that?
Depending on who you ask, Tom Cruise did have some ideas about it. My whole thing is this. This is the same guy who came in to write Mission Impossible 3 for his buddy JJ and for Tom Cruise. And I think he has helped with certain ideas with that film series. So for him to come along and just throw Tom under the bus after he completely just caved in an entire film universe as it was beginning. I don't know.
You see his historial and Tom's historial, and nobody is going to buy that. Nobody's going to believe that Tom is the one who you can point at as the main culprit of destroying the Universal Monster reboot.
Just
Nobody would believe it.
Just tell you what I heard. That's the rumor. That as far as they're concerned, it's Tom Cruise's fault. Real Popcorn Geek says the sad thing is that Kurtzman's movie is actually good compared to Blumhouse's recent efforts.
Ah.
Look,
wait till you see the Wolfman.
all I can say is this. In every single instance, you've had something really, really bad that would have ended anybody else's career. Kurtzman goes from the Dark Universe to Star Trek. And it wasn't just to do one thing. Remember, he had already been a part of Star Trek prior to that. He was the co-screenwriter for the 2009 Star Trek and its sequel, Into Darkness. And he never, ever, I at least give him major kudos and props for at least being honest enough to admit that he was not a fan of Star Trek. He didn't grow up with the show. He was not a fan of the show. So for CBS to hire Brian Fuller to essentially reboot Star Trek, which is really what they were attempting to do. CBS wanted their own version of that property because Sumner Redstone gave the Star Trek property. He took it from Paramount, who had it since 1967, and gave it to CBS. So you give it to a group, to a company that has no background with this. So CBS wants to make their own version. They hire Brian Fuller, who puts together an idea, a pilot, the Bible. He puts together a group of writers. They come out with outlines and ideas for at least a good portion of what season 1 was to be. What he had, based on things that I've heard and read, was amazing. This was going to be a big show. This was going to be one of the biggest Star Trek shows ever. And even to the point of getting Nicholas Meyer, the director, and as far as I'm concerned, the real brain trust behind Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, to join the writer's room for this new Trek series. And when they couldn't get all the funding, because for some reason CBS wasn't, under Les Moonves, CBS wasn't willing to foot the entire bill for creating this new show. For them to fire Brian Fuller after allowing him to go to San Diego Comic-Con 2016 to talk about this project in front of everybody in Hall H, which he got just positive reinforcement from. And again, you can find the video for that on YouTube. To go from him to giving it to Alex Kurtzman, who then decided to, quote unquote, rewrite almost everything that Brian Fuller had created. And part of his rewrites some of what he quote unquote developed for his reinterpretation of Brian Fuller's Star Trek Discovery is part of the legal stuff involving the young man who created that game, for which part of Star Trek Discovery seemed to match what he had been doing. That's the reason why Brian Fuller was never really a part of that situation, because there was no problem with Brian Fuller's version. The problem is with everything that Alex Kurtzman did once Fuller was out the door. Real popcorn geek, you're right. Roberto Orci should have been in charge of Trek. They should have allowed him to write the final film, Star Trek Beyond. Hey, I get what you're saying, Jeebus, but everything you just said is a lot of what I heard, if not worse, about Alex Kurtzman. Yeah, tardigrades. The tardigrades lawsuit. Yep.
And oh man, that guy got so screwed.
He did get screwed because
they took his job, his work, and then when he sues, he lost it. What? How could he? Oh my God, no!
According to our friends at Midnight's Edge, he didn't start out wanting to sue them.
Yeah, he just wanted credits. I think
he just wanted credit. He wasn't asking for money. He just wanted credit. He was doing all this and trying to take care of his sick parents. You know, and all of the crazy Kurtzman Trek fans went out and just dunked on this guy. I'm sorry. There are a lot of you out there that believe the Snyder Bros are bad. No,
they are.
the Kurtzman crazies are worse. Far worse. Because I'm not saying they've never done anything bad at all. I'm not saying they're angels. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that they were able to use what they were doing to be a positive influence, in the sense that they were raising money for a great cause. And they've raised a lot of money for different causes. The Kurtzman crazies didn't do any of that. They went after this guy.
Yes.
So anybody that actually believes that the Snyder guys are worse than the Kurtzman crazies, or even, you know, the Disney Star Wars fans, the ones who seem to like everything that they do since Disney's owned them, who are also just as bad as the Kurtzman crazies, or the people who seem to think that who seem to really get off on the Netflix Witcher stuff, even though it's all wrong. You know, who are only fans of name only, or the crazy fans of the Netflix version of He-Man.
Or even worse, the fans of Netflix version of She-Ra. My God,
yeah,
that is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is just. It has just been a steady.
Wait. We have a surprise. We have in our midst the very soul of Pop Culture Minefield. We had for you, that's Wolfen.
Hey,
Hey, John, how are you, buddy?
just fine. I'm off, so I figure I'd hop on for a bit.
It is all look, you are always welcomed here, man. So look, let me ask you. If you were to nominate any person and or project for wasted potential, or not even wasted potential, let's go with a talentless hack for 2024. Who would you pick?
I would have to go with Harvey Weinstein's old assistant.
Wow, that's a good one. Good one. Good answer.
Yes.
Good answer.
And by extension, the Acolyte.
God, that was a waste of money.
Yeah, but we all knew that it's gonna be that. The moment they were describing the show years before beginning shooting, we all knew it. Oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, and it did. It lived up to our expectations of how bad it was going to be. Well,
Oh yeah,
worse, I should
yeah, it
say.
exceeded it.
So they deliver in their promise.
Oh, they over delivered, and I have to say that given all the stuff that they've been finding out about the amount of money spent, again, there's no reason for it. They should be glad I am not running Disney, because I would have to just get those people in a room and just sit them down and just like look at them and say, okay, please explain to me how this is helping our bottom line. Because it's not.
Now they don't care about the bottom line. They care about the message.
Yeah.
But fortunately, there's not so much Star Wars, but Marvel's starting to purge.
Yeah.
Because that waste of space Nate Moore is gone.
Hey, look, Nate Moore, I think, did a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
In not allowing fans to be a part of these projects. It's not a rule that they had prior to Nate Moore being in a position of power. And it's part of the reason why phases 1 through 3 were so good. You can't do anything good if you're going to go and say, well, anybody that's either familiar with or has somehow worked on the original source material for anything we decide to do, we can't hire. And anybody that we do hire that is familiar with the work in that way or was a fan, we will not hire.
Yeah, it's a good way to ruin your business.
Hey, look, all I know is that Nate Moore he should get an instant hiring from Amazon working on their Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Pewter, because that's exactly the way they do things.
Yep.
He should have no problem getting hired by them to work on that, because he's perfect for what they're attempting to do. So, all right, hold on. Real Popcorn Geek says Snyder fandom seems to be in two camps. General Snyder fans that look forward to his new material, and Snyder onlys who obsess over DC. Huh. Let's see.
Dude, Snyder has two movies that I really, really love. 300 and Watchmen. But at some point, I had to stop defending him, and instead of saying yes, he's had two movies, I can only say, well, but he has two good movies. No, I every time I see something coming from him, and I'm always expecting for the worst.
You know what? Here's my thing on it. Okay. There's a lot of stuff built up all over and about Snyder, and that's fine. But no amount of what you say about Snyder can ever distract from the fact that Toby Emmerich was a complete disaster. Walter Hamada was a complete disaster.
Yep.
A lot of the executives they had in Warner Brothers were a complete disaster. This whole new plan they came up with after they fired him was a complete disaster.
Mm.
And they nearly bankrupted Warner Brothers before David Zaslav got there.
Yeah. And they had to go get James Gunn to write the ship for DC.
Yep. Oh, and contrary to what a lot of people want to put out there, here's my other thing. Because people keep asking me, well, why are you kind of looking forward to this? I'll tell you why. James Gunn has actually been talking to and getting advice from Zack Snyder. You know, now, he's not been getting advice as far as what stories to write or none of that.
Yeah.
But he did go to Zach and say, hey, you know, and I kind of like that. From the moment he got hired, from the moment he became the guy in charge, along with Peter Safran, you know, I was under the understanding that we were just going to watch his version of all of this stuff. And that for those people that are trying to make it seem like he somehow stopped Snyder from doing something, Snyder had already been stopped long ago by Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada. You know, the people that keep trying to make it seem like Warner Brothers is out to get Zack Snyder. Yeah, right. Okay, fine, whatever. Snyder's got his own thing going on. I'm sure he would love to do this. Look, anybody would love to do whatever and get paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
Seriously, working for a studio, you know you're going to get a lot of money, especially corporate studios nowadays, who seem to be into attempting to at least pull back on basically just giving out money to people who just have a quote-unquote recognizable name to do squat for them. And I'm looking right at you, J.J. Abrams. Because a lot of this is your fault, dude. A lot of what has gone wrong in fandom is your fault. You got your people seated in all these different jobs. And again, I know there are people out there that are fans of the movie Dumb 7. But let me let you in on something. Abrams wants the whole bag. He wants all of DC for himself. I think he low-key wouldn't mind it if Superman failed. And all you people trying to make it seem like the Robert Pattinson version of Bat Dude that his boy has put together is to be the one with the David Cornsett Superman. That's not the plan. The plan is to put Robert Pattinson with J.J. Abrams' version of Superman. Oh, you know, the one that he's doing with Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that is to be his Batman and Superman. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's just throwing away money.
I know. Take a drink of something to get the bad taste out of your mouth. Because, whoo. Oh, JJ.
I'm really hoping they pick Alan Ritchson for the new Batman.
That would be great. That'd be great. He's physically,
yep.
You know.
But however, and I agree, he would be an awesome, big, bulky Batman. But can you picture him in the suit of Superman in Kingdom Come? He even has the right
Yeah, I see.
aging.
I see. I don't know. He's too young for that.
No,
Yeah.
he has his wrinkles. You just have to gray his hair on his sideburns.
Yeah,
And
I don't see anybody as Kingdom Come Superman except Brandon Routh.
nah,
And
he's too skinny. Because
also,
and not because he's skinny, just because Kingdom Come Superman is a beast.
well, also let me at least argue. Let me at least put this out there. If you're really thinking about one to cast, when it comes to what James Gunn is wanting this Batman to be, okay, I don't know if you've heard this yet, but there is a Teen Titans movie coming.
No, I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
There's a Teen Titans movie coming, and they're basing it on the popular 80s version of the Teen Titans. So that's the reason. And if, again, I say this, there's a reason why Brave and the Bold is going to be Batman and Damian and not Batman and Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I know, because Damian is awesome.
Well, but also because they wanted Dick Grayson to get his own movie. So whoever your Batman's going to be has to be someone of a believable age if Dick Grayson's already going to be in his 20s.
Yeah.
So you can't make it someone who's, Alan is the right age. He is the right age for a Batman to have already raised one or two Robins already.
Yeah.
That's
and managed to get one killed.
Yeah. Technically.
Yeah.
That wasn't his fault.
I understand. Now, Robert Pattinson's Batman, they've already established him to be a character of a certain age. So unless they're really going to say a lot of time has passed and put him as a Batman in his 40s, which again won't help with his mental acuity because, he and Gordon in that universe are dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, I would look, they can announce tomorrow that they're not going to do anything else with that character. But if they announce, and they have announced a season 2 for Penguin, I'm all about it. And Clayface. Yes, I know. I get it. Clayface. Again, that's still that's weirding me out, man. Thank you, Monkey Jeebus. That's weirding me out. I just, again, we're just going to have to see when Superman comes out. We'll have a better idea of what we're dealing with. Now, again, I've said it before in this show and other shows. I am not the biggest fan of the concept that they have for the Green Lantern series. And I thought having, a world where you've had heroes for decades, meaning the concept that you've had superheroes since at least World War II, meaning that there is a Green Lantern already out there. There's Alan Scott already exists. And I've argued this before. Because of the Ring, he's a guy in his 80s, 90s, who looks like he's in his 40s. My whole thing is, why would you need to hire an actor to have Hal Jordan in his late 40s, early 50s? If you could have easily have chosen an actor to have him at the same age that you're going to have Barry Allen, Oliver Queen. At the very least, he should be around the same age as what you're going to have, whoever you're going to have as Bruce Wayne. Because those characters are all the same age. So it just makes no sense to me. And then for all this Earth-based stuff, and they're not going to exactly use all of Jon Stewart's backstory. To me, that's the wrong way to go on this. If you're not going to use his backstory, what are you doing? His backstory is one of the coolest in comics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost, and I hate to say this, it's almost to the point of being like, well, he's a black guy. I guess we can use him. It's like, really? Is that the only thing he means to you? You don't want his backstory to go with it? Being one of the few heroes who is married, and not just married, but married to another Lantern.
Yeah.
And, wow. That just kills me. But anyway, back to the show and back to our awards. Alex Kurtzman, let's hear it for Alex Kurtzman having won the Talentless Hack Award for 2024. You've earned it, buddy. Really, you have. Seriously. Look, the guy's already made enough money. While STD has gone away, and I know that some show made it non-canon, but the thing that doesn't make any sense is if STD is non-canon, then technically so is Strange New Worlds. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. You know, all of CBS Trek, they should just go ahead and do what they should have done the first time around when Brian Fuller was working for them, and just say that this entire thing is its own universe. It's a complete reboot of the Star Trek brand. That way, they can't keep using the same excuse that they always seem to come up with. You know, well, the way they wrote it originally just isn't working for us. We can't do, so we got to make some changes. Yeah, okay. Well, why not just have a reboot of the entire universe, and you guys can do whatever you want? In that version of it, you don't have to kill Pike off. Pike can just stay as the captain of the Enterprise for as long as you want to write the character there. You can go ahead and change the destiny of all these characters because it doesn't work in that version of the universe you have. Who knows? You might even lure some fans back if they know that you're not going to start making Swiss cheese out of the original timeline and the original set of characters and stories that they've already have.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't. It seems like to me if they wanted to print money that they would listen to the fans.
Yes.
But they've stopped listening to the fans long ago.
Well, CBS did. But that was before they got bought out. It's looking more and more like the new owners are coming in and have made it pretty clear that basically anybody who's not making them money, you get the Zaslav option, which is, you've got two choices. You can take the window or the stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get out some way. I don't care how you do it, but you're gone, and if you're not going to be making money for us, you're past gone. I know, Monkey. Yeah, got a lot of people excited, and it's just a theory, and I get it. But if CBS really wanted this to be successful, they didn't have to get rid of Discovery. They just needed to make it so that, hey, it's its own new timeline. It's a new universe. It's completely different from what we had before. Because really, the entire first season of Star Trek Discovery, the only way all of that makes sense is if you've rebooted Star Trek as a concept. That explains the new version of the Klingons. That explains the uniform. Explains everything. You don't need to say anything beyond that. We've rebooted Star Trek, and we're starting over like this. Hey, boom, it works. No baggage even.
Yep.
None at all. You guys can do whatever you want. And now you have the option of failing based on the thing that I and others have been saying all along, which is the stories are bad. It's bad stories, bad writing.
Yep.
Oh. Be ready, everyone. Because we have a Shinatsky.
Whoa! Shinatsky, everybody.
Hello, you happy people.
Oh my God. Full Shinatsky mode. How are you, man?
Well,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Enjoying sleeping and laying in bed. How are you guys?
good. I think all of us have survived Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I didn't, because I lost the Mariah Apocalypse thanks to stupid and a Netflix on watching the NFL game. They opened with Mariah Carey doing that song. It's like, I almost made it. I lost the Whamageddon a long time ago. I was at a restaurant and they started playing it.
Can I ask you something though? Does it count if it's somebody else doing the song?
No, it's got to be Wham.
It's got to be Wham.
It's got to be Wham. It's got to be it's got to be Mariah Carey doing.
Yeah. I lost that one 2 days ago. I was sitting with my grandson and we were watching a talk show just to pass time as I was watching him, and they suddenly brought out Mariah Carey and they played that song. Oh gosh.
You didn't get to the mute button quick enough, I take it.
Nope. And I cursed my grandson with his brand new ears having heard it.
Gonna give that kid a complex.
I know, right? But Shinatsky, you are just in time, because now we've entered another category, another award. But before I go to it, just like I did with John, let me ask you, Shinatsky, who would you nominate for the Talentless Hack Award of 2024?
Could I nominate all of Hollywood?
All of Hollywood? I knew it.
The moment Kid made the question, I just could hear Al Pacino saying, "Oh, there's so many names."
I mean, wouldn't it be better to have a list? There's a much shorter list of people who are not on the bad talent list than there are talented people.
True. Definitely, quite a few of them have at least enough money to afford legal representation after the Diddy case. But I can see that. I'll you know what? I'll allow it. So,
I guess if I pick one, probably Jeffrey Epstein, because he's tied to all of them.
Choose the dead guy. So our next one is Worst Star in Nerd Entertainment of 2024.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Well, it depends. You mean in front of the camera or
Yeah, in front of the camera.
in front of the camera?
Well, let's see. If I'd be serious, maybe Taika Waititi because fuck Time Bandits.
Man, that show's so bad I even forgot it was still on the air.
Rachel Ziegler.
That's what
Okay.
I was asking because I haven't seen her performance yet. But out of camera is when she had wreak havoc.
Well, we'll know when Snow White comes out if her all of her comments have actually mattered or not.
Oh, it's
Come
it's
on,
probably going to completely fail.
Well, yeah, but relative to how a lot of their other movies have been doing, because for some reason they thought it was a great idea that, we should just reshoot this entire thing, and after we already had actors, and then do massive CG budget. The only thing worse than Snow White for them is Falcon America.
Well,
Yeah.
let me just say originally, I had this down to two people. I had it down to Amandla Sternberg and Rachel Zegler. And Rachel won. I just had to give it to Rachel because she has worked hard for this. She has worked so hard for this, and I can't disappoint her. I have never seen someone hell-bent on destroying their career the same way Rachel Zegler has just been on it. Look, I don't know her, never met her. But at some point, you need to really just learn to listen to the advice of those with a lot more experience than you and pick a good time to just shut the blank up and not do anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made. A lot of people whose jobs and livelihoods are attached to this film, Snow White. And for her to continue to just keep yapping, keep doing stuff, wow.
I don't know. I put Headland up there pretty highly, just for the virtue of literally making a $280 million therapy session.
Well, she's a so-called creative talent. So, she's not really the star.
Yeah.
But I would definitely put her as someone who definitely needs help. In fact,
No, she was very creative at not paying attention to what her boss was doing in her previous job.
I was gonna say, she's so bad off right now, both of them. It would probably be a step up to find out that they're in one of the Diddy tapes. So, it's just
yeah. No, I think Headland is not attractive enough for a Diddy party.
I'm not going to talk about anybody's looks. I'm just saying things are so bad right now. It is just, this corporate Hollywood is making some changes. And depending on who you're working for and how much money they've actually lost, that will dictate how those changes come about and whether or not you're going to be a part of the new plan moving forward.
It's a question of how many of the impudent children are still going to have any kind of say versus the pull of the money people coming in, because that's the fight that's going on right now, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. And at this point, some have lost so much money. It's one of those situations where it's like the financial equivalent of John Wick having to show up at your door to let you know that your services are no longer required. To inform you not to be upset, because it's not that you're losing a job. Your job is still there. It's just that you won't be doing it anymore. That's it.
Possibly. But here's the counter with that. They've already been on the path, as long as the people who are enough people in the financial sector, which is what caused this in the first place, go, oh no, we care about this particular messaging. In essence, all of these, if you look up luxury beliefs, like, as soon as I found about those, it's like everything fucking clicked about exactly what was going on. It's like throwing lavish parties. The point of the party isn't to make money. The point of the party is to show off to everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what all these are. That's what the acolyte is that I did put X, Y, and Z in these things to make it money. We don't care about that because we're the top 1.1%.
Well, I think ultimately, what's going to happen is that there are going to be several people who are basically going to be allowed to stick around longer. People who, for whatever reason, haven't retired yet or whatever. They're definitely going to be necessary. Anybody who may have recently either quit or left, maybe even technically have even been fired within the last 10 years, might be considered people that they may look to help them get everything back on track. One way or another, this plan to take over Hollywood and to make everyone basically see and do and think the same thing hasn't worked. It is a financial bust. And ultimately, I think has done real damage to the entertainment industry, such that I think for at least the next 10 years, things are just going to be pretty bad if you're one of those people who thought that this was going to work.
Well,
for you, you're not going to have fun.
Well, given how many people are fleeing California, what's slowly happening is all the actual talent is just going to leave. They're going to go to like Nevada or whatever area. And people go, it's like, oh, but why would they leave Hollywood? This has happened before. Back in the early 20th century, it was New York that was the big cultural centerpiece.
Yes.
And Hollywood came into existence to get the hell away from all the elements that didn't like these people. And they had the power at the time. So there's a very good chance in the next 10 years it's just the industry's already in the process of hollowing itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. And most definitely. And choosing a new place to formulate or to gather, in which case there's no real place to do it. What's going to happen is, while places like Atlanta have popped up, I think ultimately what people are going to eventually realize is that you can just basically get a lot of work done from where you are. You don't really need to have a particular place, and that places like New York and LA are good places for the business people to be. Places where you can go to actually meet and negotiate. But as far as doing the work, that's going to be outside of those places. It'll be in various states. Whether you're go ahead.
It'll be whichever one does the actual very pro-business stuff. States like Texas. It'll be one of them.
Well, Texas, Colorado, you'll have places like Georgia, Atlanta, really. I mean, it'll be all over the place because people really. It's about trying to find a way to do what you want to do what you've dreamed of doing, but still find a way of having a life with your family in a place that you're comfortable with. And some people want to do it probably from their homes, if it's possible. That's where technology is going to come in.
Yep.
Places like North Carolina. Look, back in the early 2000s, North Carolina was one of those places in the late 90s, early 2000s that seemingly was going to be a big film place. It hasn't completely dried up there yet. So if everyone is looking for a place to go, if they're looking for a place to just have the business in one place, you're going to find those places. But for the most part, it'll be about you, your talent, and wherever you want to do your work from. So ultimately, it's going to hurt a lot of the people who believe or want to work on projects that it actually requires physical presence. Stagehands, costume people, they're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Location people, for the most part, are going to, it won't be as extreme as it was before. It won't be people who used to get paid looking for places around the world. Now it's just, limited locations. So,
well, Hollywood is going to become the equivalent of Canada, and that there'll be talent there, but anyone worth a damn is going to be leaving to wherever the next place is.
Yeah. I have no personal animosity, hate, or anything against Rachel Zegler at all. She is a young woman who seems to have some talent. I just hope that over, in 2025, she can find a way of focusing herself and concentrating on that talent. There's people out there that really want to root for you. Rachel, if you happen to be watching, they do. I'm one of them. But everything you're doing that you have done in 2024, that's not helping.
Well, the big thing about it is, remember, all this stuff went out on the red carpets and everything else. These aren't her words as far as I can tell. These are what she was told to say because they're what her handlers are telling her to. So fire her fucking agent and leave the Disney Club, but probably not going to happen.
Well, that's the other thing. The whole case with oh man, what is her name? The
what?
The case with Blake Lively is a good example of even how some representations, agencies, and others, PR firms are just not the best. I had never heard of this dude that she's decided to accuse of doing something like this. But I'm going to have to say, you're either the dumbest mother effer out there to try to go after the wife of probably the biggest person currently in entertainment. And right now, the current king of geek nerd entertainment. And try to basically just do a number on his wife's reputation and her career. Are you kidding me?
Oh no, it's the Hollywood playbook. Victim culture is a real thing, and it think about how many accolades you get for being a victim in Hollywood.
Yeah, but let's see, with Justin, whatever his name is, dude, I don't think you're gonna have much career left, in my opinion. Whoever your representation has been, now that those emails are out there, that place, oh geez.
Well, I mean, Amber Heard is coming back, so just goes to show you can be a literal monster, and and unless it's like unless it's exposure on level of like Harvey, they don't care. They don't care. They have no scruples. They have no morals.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm saying this guy actually look. He got accused of inappropriate stuff, but what I'm talking about is planning out to ruin someone's career with the help of your PR firm. You know, to have those emails out there. Wow, I mean, not since the Sony email hack. And those were just people that worked at Sony. That wasn't really so much about talent and their representation and their PR firm. This is on another level. And again, it doesn't matter what you really think of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. I don't know those people. But I will say this. I mean, she makes a complaint, and rather than trying to fight it in court, rather than trying to play it out the right way, you decide you're just going to attack her and try to sabotage her career. I mean, seriously, dudes? And again, just you're she's married, right? Her husband's uber successful. I'm not saying, there's people on here going, well, he's going to try to protect her. Yeah, he should. He's her husband.
Well, he's going to definitely put his weight around of don't have him involved with Buena Vista Entertainment.
I've never heard of this dude, but I'm pretty sure that whoever told you that it was all right to go down this path to try to do this, you need to drop them as representatives right now, because they've given you some bad advice, and there's a lot of people out there that are just getting some bad advice, and you just need to find another way to go. You just do. Nothing good can come out of continually trying to fight the so-called system. Nothing good can come out of when you find yourself in a hole to keep digging. So I just, at some point you just got to stop. And I'm hoping, Rachel Zegler is still a young woman. I think she can do something, but she needs to change how she does things, because what she's been doing up to now isn't working. And yeah, she may have been told to say these things, but after a while, you need to just be able to stand up and go, yeah, that ain't working for me.
Oh yeah, but she's surrounded by people who are telling her how great she is. It's the fame bubble.
Yeah.
And as soon as the fame goes away, then all those people will. And then she'll be like, wait a second, what's going on? And then she'll might do some self-reflection then.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, she's, I think she has some potential, but she's got to get away from whoever's giving her the bad advice. So,
yeah, but she's how old now? I mean, what is it? By the time you hit 25, your psychological makeup's pretty much locked in place. So, I mean, this is the problem with people growing up in this kind of system. It's not reality, but it's what they're used to dealing with.
Unfortunately. Well, this leads me to the final award of this morning show. And this is a very special award because it has a particular name that reveals so much about it. I call this the annual Disney's Lucasfilm F-Up Award. You know, over the last 10 to 12 years since Disney purchased Lucasfilm, these guys have found new levels of low to screw up on. And so I just felt it needed to be recognized that if you can, and it doesn't just have to be Lucasfilm related, but if you find a way of continually screwing up on an epic level, you just keep doing it, you deserve this award. And the winner of the 2024 annual Disney's Lucasfilm F-Up Award is Snow White from Walt Disney. There's almost no way now this film's going to be able to make any money.
Nope.
I mean,
Human sacrifices to Moloch.
Even that won't work.
Yeah, there's.
I didn't say how many.
There's just there's a certain number of things that'll probably have to happen way before this film can even make a positive dollar. Some of it basically, you know, I can see this film being successful when John Wayne comes back. You know, I just, oh wow, just.
I'm surprised you didn't do Falcon because I think they're still reshoot. They're doing their 5th reshoot now.
Yeah, well, yeah, but even before Falcon got this bad, they were doing bad with Snow White, and they just continued to go down swinging on this one. I mean, they found the hill they wanted to die on, and then just found another hill. You know, I can't stop. Most people would just allow this film to just go away. You know, put it out on Disney Plus and call it good. But all of the financial commitments they've made, all of the money they poured into this thing, it's a new low. This is, and again, as I said earlier, this is one of those projects that even Michael Cimino's got to go, okay, I can rest now because I'm no longer the worst. You know, Heaven's Gate will know. I mean, anybody that still thinks that Heaven's Gate is the gold standard of bad, you have not been spending any time paying attention to what's been going on. This Snow White movie should not only cost a lot of jobs for the people that worked on it, there are several executives who should probably go down with this film. It's that bad. So, what do you think, John?
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, what would you have picked as your winner for the F-Up Award?
For Disney?
It's not just Disney. It could have been any film. You know, as I said before, I named it after Disney's Lucasfilm because they just kept finding new ways of screwing up. They have screwed up so much they deserve to have their own award named after them. But it could be anything. So, I mean, what would you have picked?
Let's go with Zack Snyder. And
just Zack Snyder, or is it
no
a project?
Is Rebel Moon.
Okay, Rebel Moon.
By the
How
way,
about
with that movie, one guy did the math on it, and the entire all those people, all that war happens over $70,000 worth of grain.
wow. Wow. How about you, Shinatsky? What would you have picked to have been the winner of this award?
I'm going to actually not. Well, it's a Hollywood adjacent. I'm going to say the video games industry.
Oh, you're gonna say the same thing I was planning. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
But no, because even the quote good game, which didn't sell well, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, bombed terribly. Like it's been,
Really?
yeah, it's not doing very well. But no, in particular, BioWare with Dragon Age Origins, and by virtue, everyone's favorite asshole Neil Druckmann with Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, which has a character that looks like Ripley barfed from Alien 3
Wow.
onto an 80s canvas.
Wow. That is it's not good, man. It's not good at all.
And the coup de grace for financial failures, Concord,
God
which is
damn it.
somewhere between $400 and $600 million, and was taken off the shelves in a week and sold less than 1 million copies.
Wow. Wow.
So Hollywood, don't get me wrong, Hollywood's flopped like hell in the last year. So has the games industry.
Okay, Martin. You know what? Let me help you out here. One thing you could pick is Rings of Power.
No.
I know
Oh
that's
my God.
easy. That's low hanging fruit, but
I will
ultimately, they're
I
still
would
gonna.
go for
Oh,
two
go ahead.
categories. One on gaming, and of course is Concord. Not only the money, but the 8 freaking years that I spent making that game just to be on shelf for a week.
Don't forget, there's that whole episode of Secret Level that's based on Concord.
Oh, I haven't seen Secret Level yet. And the other one is, and I cannot believe nobody talk about this. Joker 2.
Yeah.
That was a fuck up.
Well, the director did it on purpose. And that's what really makes it embarrassing. He was so mad because of how people who spent money on the last movie thought of it. Not that they didn't spend money on it. Not that they trashed his movie. But because how they thought of the movie, he decided to just go ahead and trash this movie so that he could pay them back for misunderstanding his intention with that first film.
What I don't understand with it, he wrote the first one, and the thing he immediately does is completely says, at what you saw, what I depicted in this movie, oh, that didn't actually happen that way. It wasn't actually about him. His shadow took over him. Where the fuck was this in the original?
Yeah.
Your script, which people have access to, even says when he does the little blood smile, he is the Joker.
I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Kids, when the Q-tip meets resistance, you've got to stop. You just got to stop. I mean, oh, geez.
I don't know what was or wasn't on purpose with that. All I know is that whatever, him and Joaquin, they made bank. Everyone else is embarrassed. So, if it was a troll, good job.
That's the way I look at it. A major troll. And again, as I said before, with Rings of Power, you have to understand that Amazon is still going to try to do this. They're still going to go with the 5-year series plan. Oh my God.
Wait,
I'm having a ball
Keith,
with that.
Keith, so you're saying there's a problem with 5-year plans?
Oh,
Oh,
imagine
my
a
goodness.
10 years one.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. That's painful.
I'm just stalling. That's all.
I can't even. You've got all this money and you are choosing to burn more money on top of it for reasons. I mean, most people would say, well, that first season didn't really work at all. Maybe we should go a different direction. I can almost argue, second season, okay. Yeah, you know what? We gave fans a chance, and they don't seem to like what we're giving them. I guess we should go a different way, okay? Oh, my God.
Keith, this goes to what I was talking about before. They're not going to do that because those types of beliefs are what the masses have. They're the elite, so they have their own set of beliefs, and they're going to follow them no matter how much money they have to spend because it signals how good they are.
Wow. There is a cliff right in front of you, and you're just going to go right over for reasons.
Yep,
Okay.
because I'm not a pleb. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm rich. Boom.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
these things are. Think about the status symbol of going to a Diddy party until recently. That was considered a status symbol. It was a nightmarish one. They don't care. Understand this. It's like people getting a Rolex or like the biggest yacht in the world. It's not practical at all. It's a waste of money. That's why they do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have the same priorities as us. You and I with that kind of thing, we'd be like, "Oh, we should save all this money we've just been given." They spend it going, "I have all this money and I must show off it somehow."
And that would explain why Barbara Broccoli said what she said about Amazon.
Yeah.
For those that aren't up on the story, it seems like part of the explanation is the reason why we don't have a new James Bond film by now is because Eon Productions, which is run by the Broccoli family, and Amazon, who own MGM and thus also have a certain amount of rights to the film rights to the Bond films, are basically not getting along.
Nope.
And I don't know, on the one hand, it's Amazon, but on the other hand, if memory serves, long before No Time to Die came out, Barbara Broccoli and her people were looking at trying to do something different with Bond. And granted, a lot of it sounds like they were floating ideas. But again, this whole we're going to change Bond idea was floated by them.
Well, they're already doing test beds with it with Casino Royale. I mean, there's a reason Daniel Craig comes out of the beach a la Ursula Gwen in that first Bond movie with his shirt off and everything else. They're trying to get a female audience for the male-centric one. They were just being more subtle about it.
You have a good one too, Gap After Dark.
Bye, Gap.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, what the impasse actually is. One would think that Amazon and Eon Productions would be on the same page, and it seems like they're not.
They're probably fighting over which minority group Bond should be in the future, and they can't decide.
Which is scary, disappointing, a little frightening.
No, I hate that I'm being serious about this, but it's sad.
Yes. Yes, it is. I just again, Amazon, you've got all this money. You can do anything you want. And what you're choosing to do in saying that you're fans and all this other stuff, and all you want to do is produce crap. You take any fan at all that is a fan, you have them list 3 projects that could be turned into something that Amazon could do. You have them pick 1 comic, 1 book, 1 television show. Any real fan can give you one of each of those to consider. Any one. You know, if I were asked, I would tell them Saga as far as my comic book pick. And the book would be Wild Cards. And
Wasn't Wild Cards announced a while ago? I don't know if it ever went anywhere from there.
Wild Cards, the last I heard, Wild Cards, the film rights were bought by Disney, and they've been sitting on them all this time.
Yeah.
And so, as far as TV shows go, I would choose something like okay, this is going to sound bad, Amazon, but I would go with I would get together with Warner Brothers and do that Babylon 5 movie that they had talked about. Granted, you don't have access to any of the actors who played the characters that you know from the year that they were doing. But the Babylon 5 movie idea would have been set just a few years beyond now and get into the whole telepath war. The original telepath war eventually. So it would actually not be as expensive to do that. Think Scanners combined with John Wick. If you know the movie Scanners, just think of a John Wick version of that.
Yeah, but just devolve into, a child going, "You're not my mother. You're not my father."
But a bump. Well, then how about you, Shinaski? What would be your picks?
Well, I'm trying to actually get some of them off the ground, so I'll list ones that I'm not trying to do. Oh, let's see. If I had to pick stuff, I mean,
if as I said before, you go to Amazon, I said any fan would have 1 comic book, 1 novel, and 1 TV show.
Oh, I'll do one that's all 3. The Shadow. Adopt the actual pulps as basically, I don't know, 2-hour movies. Like, do a Columbus style series with it and just adapt them straight because they still work.
Good idea. That's a really good idea.
They're not going to.
Yeah, but I mean...
Because the whole issue with, like, for those that don't know, The Shadow if you're used to the radio series, the idea about him. I mean, the Alec Baldwin movie is kind of close, but even then, that's kind of an amalgamation. He's basically he's the original Batman, basically. Only, yeah, he just works on wasted criminals. But the important thing with him is he's a man. He's just a very, very skilled man. And a lot of his villains are very intelligent. It's actually a very intelligent character in series. So, yeah, he does important things like, yeah, he invented the supervillains with that. If the antagonist didn't explicitly die, he'd actually bring them back. And if they looked like they died and he brought it back, Maxwell Grant would work on coming up with a justifiable excuse. He had to do the legwork. He couldn't just go, I throw them in a Lazarus pit because Lazarus pit.
Oh. Okay. John, how about you? One comic, one novel, one television show. Amazon's asking. What would you tell them?
Comic. I would probably. That's hard. Because the problem is you got to deal with who owns what rights to what property.
Yeah.
So let me come back to the novels. Easy. Honor Harrington. The Honor Harrington series.
Good one.
And I guess for novel, let's go with something from Valiant. Or for comic, rather. Because there's not a lot of their stuff that gets out there.
Cool. Martin.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go easy on me, and I'm gonna assume that there are no rights problem, and I am the showrunner, so I can verify that everything is right according to the source material. And having said that, my comic book would be Kingdom Come.
Okay.
My novel would be Shadow 81 by Lucien Nahum.
Okay.
TV show. A TV show to be readapted. I don't know, because any TV show that I like the way it is. I see no reason to change it or to reimagine. No, I don't have a show.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could have Amazon go back and try to adapt something they've already done. The second half of The Expanse.
Oh, okay. I can go with that. Please do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Making entertaining.
And Monkey Jeebus. Bye, Penny. Monkey Jeebus has a good one.
Oh, bye,
HBO
Penny.
Max doing Planetary. Planetary would be fantastic. But there's a lot of deep nerd geek stuff in Planetary. You've never read the comic.
I have a yes. It made a TV show about it. And they fuck it up, but we could. I could present the proposition to Amazon. How about if we just unfucked Halo?
Oh, if we're going there, then I say I'd love someone to adapt Why the Last Man, because obviously no one has.
I gotta say I'm jealous because Shinatsky, your whole idea of the shadow is just amazing. That would be a whole thing. In fact, if I were to redo my thing, I would go full on with just Flash Gordon and turn that into a television series. Because
Well, yeah, a lot of these things they've been adapted, but they'd be adapted into the Hollywood version and everything. No one's done straight adaptations of these things because Hollywood always wants to put their stamp on things.
Yeah.
Imagine we get Lord of the Rings level type adaptations for some properties. Imagine that.
Well, I mean, doing Flash Gordon as a television series to take, plan it out to take 5 years to tell the entire story. So that means from Flash, Dale, and Zarkov landing on Mongo to defeating Ming. That's a 5-year story arc there.
Yeah.
That gives you a lot of time to spend with all of these characters and to flesh them out in a way that a 2-hour movie couldn't come close to doing. And another one would be another one would definitely be what John was saying. I think On Basilisk Station is a very good first novel for any character. That entire universe for Honor Harrington is just freaking amazing. And to me, one of the most embarrassing things about the group of people who had been in charge of Hollywood over the last 10 years never understood is that right there is a phenomenal character and universe to adapt. They could have easily have adapted that and done all the stuff they were always doing with all this other stuff and made it just made Honor Harrington, which would have just checked so many boxes for them. And they decided not to.
I got another really crazy one you could do. Mind you, this would be really, really huge.
Okay.
Original World of Darkness. And you do a series for each of the main ones. So you'd have Vampire the Masquerade, Mage the Ascension, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. Is 3 series that are all going on at the same time. All of their own plots, but they can actually cross over.
That's also kind of interesting. Look, Amazon has more than enough money to do all this stuff and to do it well. You don't need to be spending $1 billion on one television show. That's really why I continue to make fun of Rings of Pewter, because you're spending $1 billion on this, and it's crap. It's not even decent crap. It's just crap. It's cosplay. It's not even good cosplay.
Yeah, I never understood why do they pick these people. That's the thing I don't necessarily understand. They just somehow they're able to convince Jeff Bezos they know what they're doing, and they don't.
The 2 people in charge are, again, as I said towards the beginning, they're JJ's people. The problem with a lot of projects is they all have ties to J.J. Abrams. Star Trek, right now, J.J. Abrams. The current version of the Batman, J.J. Abrams. Again, it's he and his people are everywhere. And I think the sooner you get out of business with any J.J. Abrams related person, the better off you'll be. So,
Well, it looks like Hollywood's
Thank you,
already
Mikey.
done with him, so it's just a matter of.
It is a matter of time, unless Superman fails, in which case I can actually see JJ being able to worm his way back into Warner Brothers to try to run DC the way that he wants. And as I said earlier, if you think this whole Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman thing is done, if JJ gets in charge, that's what he's going to do. He's not going to pick up David Corn Sweat and he's not going to do that. He's going to take Dumb 7, their version of the Batman, and he's going to pair that character off with his version of Superman.
And JJ cried for there no more franchises he could destroy.
Oh, there's a lot of franchises he could destroy. He could turn around tomorrow and go, this Space 1999 seems like something cool.
No.
And we hit a nerve.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that just leave him alone. I mean, don't get me wrong, you love Space 1999. I never really got into it, so it's just like sometimes it is difficult to get into things that are like way, way before your time.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason why he feels he would be safe to just reinvent the entire thing. It's an IP that is quote unquote known, but it's something that is old compared to a lot of other stuff, and it's far enough removed. He could easily just put his own spin on the whole thing.
Or he could try learning to be creative again, regarding Henry.
Hold on.
Hey, you had some potential, kid, back in the day. Maybe you should go back to that.
Hold on, Shadowski. Hold on for just a moment.
Yeah. Good going, Woody.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Ooh. Wow. That ranks right up there with JJ deciding to finish that Spider-Man story he never finished for Marvel. Oh.
Wasn't that his kid who was doing the Spider-Man?
They were both doing it. So, way to go there. Start him out young. Teach him how to abandon projects. No, look. JJ's going to JJ. That's all I can say about that. JJ is going to JJ. And he loves doing what he does, and that's fine,
Well, who wouldn't love adapting super popular IP and getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to do so?
Yeah, his Superman idea is just he's got some sort of a thing for the character of Superman. I can't explain it. But ever since his Superman flyby script and what little I was able to read without retching too badly, God, that was bad. And that's back in the 90s. So for him to have held on to this character for this long to try to do the Ta-Nehisi Coates thing, yeah, I'm telling you, if this new Superman film does not do well, JJ is chomping at the bit to jump in destroy the gun verse, replace it with the JJ verse of DC, and to show how different he is, yet still stick to his guns about everything he's been saying over the last decade. Look for a black Clark Kent, a black Kal-El. He's not.
They've already got a black Superman. His name's not Kal-El.
I know. There's two black Supermen within the DC universe.
Yeah.
But he's not going to use either one of those guys. And the one actor he approached about doing it told him to his face, if you're going to do this, if you're going to make this Val Zod, I'm in.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it. So and I can see JJ thinking he's just going to be all kinds of ahead of the curve. I'm going to bring back Married with Children, but I'm going to make them black.
That would be an improvement for Al.
And I would just have to say, really? Seriously? I remember that look that Gary used to give people, that really kind of disgusted look. You know, that's the look I would give Warner Brothers and JJ for doing that. It's like, you really don't see how bad that would be to make the Bundys black. If you kept the personalities the same and you made them black, and you really don't see how this is not good.
Yeah, that would actually be a hilarious episode of Married with Children. He meets and this is with the twist you do on it, though. They meet the black equivalent of them, and they're all happier and more well-adjusted.
That would still be an improvement, but if you did the exact same show, except they were all black, don't change anything at all.
Oh, God. No, them doing it black, they have Kelly getting pregnant all the time.
Oh, snap.
I'm just going, what's the worst thing you do? Yeah, that would be doing, because this is the black version, so we got to emphasize the black traits.
God. Well, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't even, it would be racist, because if you didn't change anything, if you kept it exactly like the other version, except they're black, it would be so racist.
No, at that point, just call it Minstrel with Children.
Oh, God. Oh, no. He went there. Shinatsky, everybody. Shinatsky, everybody.
Definitely trying to get the channel canceled.
It's not racist if you're pointing out how racist it is.
I disavow any relation with Chinatsky. I do not know that man.
They're just trying to turn or just take the plot of Watermelon Man, throw Al at it. I mean,
oh, jeez. Oh, no. First of all, gold star, because that's a deep cut.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna get this. Most people aren't.
But Monkey Jeebus, we're trying to be more progressive, and given the audience that you're aiming this at, it would definitely be Married with Children. You know, so the progressive part would be that they were married. You see.
Actually, one joke I've told would be, it would be more hilarious to have a modern, like, you know, I guess it'd be, what is it, Gen Y now or whatever it is. It's someone who's basically just gotten married, like, somehow.
Gen Z.
Go meet Al, and then Al talking about how terrible his life is. Like, wait a second, you own your own home? You have a stable job that you've had for the last 20 years? Yeah, my retirement fund's coming. You have a retirement? Like, what happened? Wait, what mean? You're a winner, Al. I don't feel like much of a winner. I didn't win. Everyone else lost.
Wow. I think we have a concept. I think we could sell Amazon on this.
You have kids?
Well,
how did you do this?
I have to head out, so I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, John.
Say it like
I
this.
still- Take care.
Janotsky is making you run for your reputation.
All right, have a
You
good
don't
one.
want.
Have a good one, John. Thank you
Bye,
again.
John.
One more. It's like I still got 6 more car payments to do. You have a car? How do you get so rich? How do you succeed so much? And he's just like, I think the future generation's screwed.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's all the awards I'm giving out for 2024. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed what we've put forth. I gotta say, look, today, when I woke up, I didn't realize I'd be headed down the road that I headed on with the Black Married with Children.
Married with children.
There's definitely something that might get me canceled, or at least going straight to hell. That'd probably be it.
No. The entire excuse you would do, it's like, that's horribly racist. Also true.
Oh, they might confiscate my black card for that one. But I'm what can I say? It's funny, and in an unfortunate way, it's also very true. I can see JJ putting this forth. Oh, yeah. Anyway, wow. I want to thank John Shanatsky, my good friend Martin, Sci-Fi Mombi, Monkey Chivas, Sander Hamaslag, Tom Baker, Cap Attack, Real Popcorn Geek, Mrs. A, Penny. Want to thank everybody that is just taking time out of their very busy post-Christmas day to spend a little time with us here as I say some things that might get me canceled. So,
oh, I got one. No, just
here we go.
all black, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's what
Oh,
AJ Abrams
jeez.
pitches next. It's like I never watched this show. I just heard it was popular. What?
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, this has been nice. It's been fun. And hopefully everyone has a good day. If you can, try to spend it with your family. And if you can't, hopefully we've been managed to keep you entertained and give you at least one or two things to think about as you, some of you out there, start to put together your letters of protest to Gary. So if you want to, if you feel the need to complain and to make a point, to just say, hey, this Keith guy doesn't seem to be working out for me very well, and you want to complain to my manager, you should at least spell my name correctly. So that's Keith, Gerry, Moncrief, Kissell. Now, send that to Pop Culture Minefield. and they will get right on that and probably respond in a timely fashion. Okay. So again, I want to thank everybody and try to have a very, very, very good day.
Well, see you.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Thank you.